Hello and welcome back for the second part of my complete guide to DMZ with White Lotus Tier 2. So in this video I'm going to break down the easiest way to complete all of the missions in White Lotus Tier 2 and talk about which missions you can do together, which ones you can skip, everything like that. If you like this video or you find it useful, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get started. As with every tier, there are 6 main missions and you need to complete 5 of those to unlock the last story mission. Complete that mission and you unlock the next tier. That means you can skip one of the main missions, and in this tier I would strongly suggest you skip Death from Above. This has been bugged since launch, and even though it sounds really simple, you just need to buy a Mord Strike and then use it to kill 8 enemies, it hardly ever counts. It's definitely possible to do it, but it's so frustrating and all of the other missions are quite good fun. So I'd suggest doing all of the others and skipping that one. But regardless, in this guide we will take you through every single mission, so let's get started with Break Check. Break Check asks you to go into Al Mazrah and you're going to be trying to find a car crash site on Zyra Observatory and then extract a hard drive from it, which you then need to take to Ashika Island to put in a dead drop in the waterways. So finding the car crash isn't too bad. Just as soon as you spawn into Al Mazrah, try and find a vehicle and then head over to Zyra Observatory. So the car crash you're looking for is in this part of Zyra Observatory, just in the kind of south bit that sticks out. So head over there and try to find 2 vehicles. One's a little bit higher up on a road and it's obviously crashed into another car that has fallen down to the lower road. It's worth warning you that this is a fairly hot spot in DMZ. Not only is Zyra Observatory kind of tough a lot of the time, there's lots of people doing this mission because it's one of the earlier ones and it takes people a while to find the hard drive, so just be a little bit careful of other players. Now the hard drive is underneath this lower car, so this one that's on fire upside down a bit lower down, just underneath it you can see the hard drive highlighted there. You can grab that, just stow it, put it in your backpack, and then get out, and now you need to extract. If the hard drive isn't there, that means another player beat you to it, and that's why you kind of need to rush here quite quickly, so you're going to have to extract and come back. It's a good idea to combine this mission with one of the others you need to do in Al Mazrah, so maybe you could do Hostage Rescue, where you just have to complete a hostage contract to get out, or Smuggling Tunnels, where you need to put the tactical cameras in the tunnels. You could do those at the same time as this one. We decided to try and do Pathfinder in it, so we were going to be trying to go to every location on the map, which is a little bit more ambitious, but definitely still doable. But whatever you do, when you're ready to leave, make sure you've definitely got that hard drive in your inventory. You can't drop it or sell it or anything like that along the way. That would be really bad. But just make sure you extract, and now we need to head over to Ashika Island. So load into Ashika Island and make sure you've still got that hard drive in your inventory. If you've gone straight here, it should still be there anyway. You can see it's there in blue in my inventory. And now you're going to be heading into the waterways dead drop. This is actually a kind of tricky one to get to because there's a couple of juggernauts that wander around there and a bunch of AI, and often there'll be players there because again there's lots of missions that kind of lead to this same place. An easy way to get in there is just to grab a boat from wherever you spawn and then head into one of these entrances, because it's one of the big like underwater tunnels that go under the island, and there's 3 different entrances around the island to get under there. So we spawn just on that beach where we always seem to spawn for some reason, and then we can just head into this tunnel. Driving a boat too far into here is an absolutely terrible idea because there are a bunch of AI, they're armoured, and they will absolutely shred you. But work your way through. If you've got a group, this is very easy and just kill all of that AI. If you're solo, it's still fairly easy, but you're just going to have to take your time a little bit. You could potentially go down one of the rappel ropes so you're a little bit closer to the dead drop, but the problem with that is that you're going to be landing straight in the middle of some juggernauts, and you're going to have to fight a bunch of AI above ground because the place where you need to go is kind of below the castle. So the area you're looking for is just here, where there's that big walkway. You want to head down towards where the submarine is, and there's all of these bunker doors. And if you go round to the far end of the kind of sub-pen area, so past this white container and then near the little dock, you'll see the illuminated dead drop, and that's where you're going to put the hard drive in. So you should have the Ashika security hard drive, dump that in there, and then that mission will be complete, and you can just extract as normal. For the first objective of commanding intel, all you have to do is complete a recon contract. So just find one of the little folder icons on the map, go pick up that contract. It's going to ask you to find a laptop and show you a circle roughly where it is. You can normally hear them whirring. So find a laptop, interact with it, and then you're going to have to climb up a tower and upload the files at the top. And that first objective will be complete. You don't have to do that like in the same game as any of the rest of it. The second part of the mission asks you to kill a commander and extract a weapon case. I've shown you before how to do this on Al Mazrah with the Juggernaut, so let's show you how to do it on Ashika Island. So head to the castle on Ashika Island, and the first thing you're going to have to do is get access to it. One way is to hack the wheelson. So you can see here I'm having to change my settings from prioritize interact to tap to reload, otherwise I can't interact with the wheelson. But if you damage the wheelson enough, you can go up and hack it when it stopped moving by holding that interact button, and then when you hack it, the castle doors will open. If you've got the castle hideout key, then you can just use that to get straight in the doors. And if you've got a DDoS, like I do here, you can activate it next to the wheelson, and then you don't have to damage it, you can just hack it while it's been disabled with the DDoS. It is worth realizing that the DDoS doesn't last for that long, so once you've used it, do make sure you're hacking that wheelson super fast. Otherwise it will kind of come back to life and kill you. Or run you over, which it's done to Flynn repeatedly. Once you've got access to the castle, you're going to have to fight your way through. There's tons of traps in here, there's sentry guns, there's loads of armored guards, and chances are there's going to be more armored guards coming in behind you. So this is quite a challenging fight, to be honest. Extra DDoSes definitely help, because then you can just deactivate a bunch of the sentry guns, which makes them much easier to deal with. And as always, having teammates helps a bunch, because then you can revive each other. The commander that you're going to kill is just in the very top room of the building. If you get onto these stairs, sometimes he'll start coming down. He's very, very easy to kill, not like the Juggernaut on Al-Mazrah or like Velikan in Building 21. Instead, he's just a normal guy. So once you get to him, you can kill him very easily. If you want to be super thorough, you can actually go up to his little hideout room at the top and interact with a computer there to turn the alarms off. But if you're just grabbing the weapon case and going, then you don't really need to. And actually, there being lots of AI around the castle isn't a bad thing, because it might slow down any players that are also trying to come and kill you. But now you've got the weapon case, just try to find an exfil that's somewhere nearby. You can do a secure hostage contract, but because Ashika Island's so small, I strongly suggest you do everything from now on as fast as you possibly can, because there's probably going to be another team or two trying to chase you down. So just get to the nearest exfil, call it in, and then be prepared to protect it against whichever teams are following you. And then once you get on that helicopter in your exfil, this mission will be complete. Like I said at the beginning, Death from Above is a good choice for your mission to skip from this tier, because it just seems hopelessly bugged. But the mission objectives themselves are quite straightforward. The first one is just to buy a mortar strike from a shop, so that's easy. Just keep checking the buy stations until you find one that has a mortar strike, and then save up the $12,000 you need for it and buy one. You only have to do that once. All of the other mortar strikes you use, because trust me, you'll probably end up using quite a lot of them, it doesn't matter where they come from, you just have to buy one once. But then you have to try and kill 8 enemies with a mortar strike. Now the problem with mortar strikes are that players can get away from them super easily, because you get loads of warning from them, they're really slow, and on the minimap you can actually see where each individual mortar is going to land, so you can just not stand underneath one of the mortars. And for some reason, when you kill AI with these, it hardly ever counts. We've killed, I would assume, about 40 to 50 AI with mortar strikes at this point, and I'm still on like 6 out of 8 for this. It's very, very frustrating, it's very bugged. I would say the best way to do this is just to look for a reinforcement chopper. As soon as it settles for exactly where it's going to land, call the mortar strike in there, and you'll probably kill a bunch of AI just as they land. It does seem like if you kill them when they're still in the helicopter, they might not count, which is really annoying. There are other places to do it, like Al-Mazrah. Sometimes you find big groups of enemies all standing together. Try and do that. Or I've been told that some people have had luck with the final exfil on Ashika Island, because basically all of the bots will run towards that final exfil, so you should have loads of them in one place, so you could try it there. But essentially all you have to do is kill bots with a mortar strike. How hard could that be, right? The next mission, Hostage Rescue, is very easy. All you have to do is complete a hostage rescue contract, so look to the little icons on the map that have like some handcuffs, and basically as soon as you grab that, it will show you a stronghold where a hostage is being held. Go over to that one. As soon as you open the doors, there's going to be a timer, so it's a good idea if there's multiple floors to it to try and go in from the top floors, because generally, but not always, the hostages are somewhere high up. So go through the building, kill all of the AI, defuse the bomb on the hostage as quickly as you can, and then as soon as you pick up the hostage, because you kind of put them over your shoulder, it will show you where a helicopter is going to land. You need to take the hostage over there. Annoyingly, you can't get in vehicles with the hostage, but you can stand on top of them, so you can kind of get very read about. But make sure you get onto that helicopter, drop the hostage down in the middle, and then as soon as that's done, it'll be complete. Then you just need to extract in that same helicopter. So just keep standing in the helicopter, and once you leave the game, that will complete this mission. Smuggling Tunnels is another one of those missions that is much easier than it sounds. Essentially, the only challenge of this is getting 2 tactical cameras. If there's 2 of you in your team, obviously it's super easy. Just bring one each in your loadout equipment slot, and then you're going to be going into Al Mazrah to find these smuggling tunnels. These were new at the beginning of Season 2, so that's probably why this mission is here, to show people where they are. But essentially, just go to 2 of the entrances, and then put the camera kind of in the entrance, looking at it. We put it actually in the entrance because it seemed to be a little bit safer, and then that should complete the objective, and once it's completed, you can just extract and this mission is done. Pathfinder is a mission that's returning from Season 1, and it is a mission that I quite enjoy. So the first step of it requires you to go and find a GPS device from a dead drop. The dead drop is up at Mount Sire, but it's the opposite end from where you went to go pick up that hard drive. It's kind of on the north side of it, and if you just go behind this building, this kind of beige and white building, you should be able to see this dumpster, and then if you interact with it, you'll see that there's a GPS device inside. Then you can get to a vehicle and start trying to track the different POIs. Now obviously this is much easier if you can find a helicopter. With a helicopter, and preferably picking up a couple of fuel cans before you start, you can get to all of these different points of interest super fast. Just keep a mental note in your head of which ones you've already visited, and it's nice to have kind of a method of like, okay, I'm going to go from all of the sort of southeast ones, then all the southwest ones, then all of the northwest ones, then all of the northeast ones. Just try to keep tracking them. It's basically all of the named locations on the map, so this shouldn't be too hard. Each location will be counted as soon as its name appears on your screen. So that means that you don't actually have to like land at every location or go deep into them, which is particularly good for places like Akhtar Village and Sarif Bay. You can just kind of skirt the outside of it, and then as soon as it shows up, it should add to the counter on however many you've done out of 17 to show you that you've completed that one, and you can move on to the next one. It is important to note that once you've been to every single location and you're at 17 out of 17, you also need to extract with that GPS tracker. So make sure you don't drop the tracker and make sure you don't die, otherwise you're going to have to do this whole thing again. Now you're on to the final mission for Tier 2 of White Lotus, train tracks. And this is quite a fun one. So the first thing you have to do is to head over to Al Bagra Fortress, because you're going to be going to grab some tracking devices out of the dead drop. The tracking devices are here just at the south of this big building, so you can open up this dumpster. There's kind of a group of 3 buildings and it's at the south wall of one of them, and then you should be able to pick up the tracking devices. Obviously you're going to need to make room if you don't have them. Then as soon as you've got them, you now need to go find the cargo train. So this is the one that's going clockwise around the map, and you know, it looks like a cargo train. It's the old one, the one that was there from Season 1. It's usually easier to catch up with the train with a vehicle, but you could just stand by the side of the road in front of it to get on. And then as soon as you've got on, you should find these prompts for plant tracking device. Essentially, you just have to plant 5 of them, so plant 1 on each container. If you just wander around, you should be able to find the little prompts to interact with. They seem to be kind of central on most of them, so it doesn't attach to an object or anything like that. It's just kind of in the middle of each of them. And if you're stuck on one of the carriages and you can't find the prompt for it, just move on to the next one, because I think there's possibly a couple of carriages where it doesn't seem to work, like maybe the back one. For whatever reason, the final location, if you're moving from the back to plant the tracking device, isn't actually sort of in the middle of either of these 2 carriages. It's right at the far end of the second from last one. So you can see here, I was a bit confused. I couldn't work out where to put it. But if you go right up against the edge of this one, then you can plant it, and that mission will be completed. You don't even need to extract for that one, so it doesn't matter if you die. But there you have it. That's all of White Lotus Tier 2 completed. I hope this guide helped. As we go on, obviously, we'll get to some of the trickier missions. If you're stuck on a very particular mission, check out my channel, because I've got guides on loads of the hardest ones, the ones that I found difficult. And if there's one that you're really finding tough, let me know in the comments below, and then I'll get working on a guide for that one. Thanks so much for everyone who's watched all the way through this and has been supporting the channel. Appreciate all of you, and I'll see you for the next one. Goodbye.